Okay, well, let's get started here. So good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. I hope you've been able to enjoy some of the nice weather that we're having. My name is Leanne House. I am General Manager of Westworld Tours, and I'll be facilitating the presentation this evening on Egypt. But before I turn over the presentation to Cindy, I'd just like to go over a couple of things. So joining me this evening to tell you all about the incredible sights and experiences that you will experience on the Pharaohs and Pyramids of Egypt with the Nile Cruise is Cindy Erickson, tour coordinator with Westworld Tours. And Cindy's been with us for quite a while now, and she's traveled all over the world and is full of knowledge on different destinations. So she's excited to tell you all about Egypt tonight. And questions. So if you have any questions this evening during the presentation, feel free to enter them into either the chat or the Q&A box on the bottom of your screen. And we encourage you to ask questions anytime throughout the presentation. Everyone is muted, but feel free to throw those into the chat or the Q&A, and we will try to get to all of your questions at the end of the presentation. And if you've joined on Facebook, please feel free to type your comments or questions into the comment section, and we will try to get to those as well. Future presentations. So now that fall is back into full swing, we're hoping your evenings have kind of slowed down a bit and you're able to join us for our future tour presentations. So last week we talked about our Peru tour that does Peru and the Amazon. So if you missed that, you can visit our website and you'll be able to see a recording of that presentation. And of course, tonight is Egypt. And next week, we're going to talk about our Women Explorers Ireland tour, which we did last year and was very successful. We have had quite a few ladies that had a really good time on that trip. The week after, on November 2nd, we will be talking about our President's Collection, Northern Lakes of Italy, and the Eastern Mediterranean cruise. So that's a really exciting trip. November 8th, we'll talk about our Women Explorers Morocco tour. And on November 15th, we will talk about Antarctica and the Falkland Islands with Brazil and Argentina. And you can actually see a full list of our tour presentations on our website as well. And if you would like to receive future presentation invites as well as timely information on our new tours, we recommend that you follow us on Facebook or sign up to receive our email newsletter. And so you won't be inundated with emails and you can unsubscribe at any time. And I'm going to launch a poll right now on our screen, and you can let us know if you would like to receive our email newsletter. And you can also go to westworldtours.com/subscribe and put your information in there, and you will be automatically entered into our newsletter. And I'm just going to launch that poll right now. And so you can sign up for our Westworld Tours and Women Explorers, just our Westworld Tours, just our Women Explorers. If you're already receiving them, that's great. Let's give everyone a couple minutes to put in their answers. And like I said, if you're joining us from Facebook, you won't be able to see the poll, but you can go to westworldtours.com/subscribe and you can enter your email address that way. Okay, I'll just leave it for one more minute here. Okay, and if you miss out on the poll, you can definitely still subscribe. Okay. So I'd like to quickly give you a little bit of information about our President's Tour. I know that we are going to be talking about it next week, but this tour is the Northern Lakes of Italy and Eastern Mediterranean cruise, which is June 14th to 29th of 2024. And for this tour, you fly into Milan and home from Bologna, and you'll visit Lake Como, Lake Garda, famous ports of call, Athens, beautiful Santorini in Greece, Croatia, and Montenegro. And so on this one, you'll want to, if you're interested in booking, I would suggest booking soon. Space is limited, and our unsold staterooms will be recalled by the end of the cruise lines, or by the cruise line soon. So like I said, you'll be able to tune in next week if that's of interest to you, and we hope that you will join us to hear more about that tour. And some of you watching this evening may be familiar with us, but for those who are not, Westworld Tour, Western Canada's premier tour company, has been serving Canadians from coast to coast with escorted travel throughout North America and around the world since 2000, presenting quality components, including modern, comfortable coaches, professional tour directors, experienced, courteous drivers, baggage handling, and excellent accommodations. We're really excited to be celebrating our 25th anniversary in 2025. And we'd like to know where you would like to see that trip go. We haven't got it planned out just yet. So if you would like, please feel free to share your ideas in the comment section, and we'll take those away. And we like to take in all the important sites and attractions and include several meals throughout our tours. Thousands of passengers have chosen our first-class style of touring, enjoying the great value, security, and stress-free environment, all while making new friendships along the way. And we know our tour directors love getting to see familiar faces, over and over again. So speaking of this, I'm going to launch our second poll now, which is, we're wondering how many of you joining us this evening have traveled with Westworld Tours before? And I'll just get that going. Okay, so it's looking like 50-50. Okay, 50, yeah, about 50-50. I'm gonna end the poll there. So 47% of you have traveled with us, so thank you for traveling with us, and we hope to see you again soon. And 53 of you haven't, so we hope that you'll be able to join us on one of our tours soon. Okay, so we are going to tell you a little bit, well, actually a lot, about our Egypt tour. So explore the wonders of Egypt and sail along the cool waters of the Nile on board a luxurious riverboat. Visit the oldest of 7 wonders of the world, the Great Pyramid of Giza, with the entrance to Cheops Pyramid. You'll wander through many temples like Luxor Temple, the Temple of Philae, Temple of Sobek, and Haroris, and more. You'll ride on the Nile on board a traditional Egyptian felucca, and you'll visit the Egyptian botanical gardens. Explore the west bank of the Valley of the Kings, where the tomb of the pharaohs were discovered. You'll excite your taste buds with the flavors and spices synonymous with Egypt. Enjoy Galabia parties and more on this guaranteed departure March 1st to 16th of 2024. So this tour is guaranteed to depart. So, and we still have space available on it. So we would love to have you join us. And if you'd like to do so, you can call your travel agent, and we'll talk more about different ways to book at the end. And now I'm going to pass it over to Cindy, and she'll be able to tell you all about this exciting tour.
Thanks, Leanne, and thanks everyone. Thanks for joining us. I am, as Leanne mentioned, Cindy Erickson, tour coordinator with Westworld Tours, and I'm excited to share with you our tour to Egypt. We've got this slide up here for your information. I know I myself like to have a visual of where I'm going to be traveling to, and this little maps always seem to help. So on the left side map is like an overview of the areas of Egypt we're going to be traveling to. And as you can see, we're going to fly in and out of Cairo. And then we will venture down further south into the region of Luxor and join the cruise, board the cruise ship in Luxor and sail down the Nile River. as far south as Aswan before heading back up to Luxor and into Cairo. So that gives you a little bit of a visual of the area that we'll be traveling to and where some of the major sites are located. As you can see, the Valley of the Kings is located up by Luxor, as is the Karnak Temple and the Luxor Temple. And then when you travel further down, you'll get into the Temple of Horus, of Sobek and Horus, and back into beautiful, serene Aswan. We'll see the Philae Temple and High Dam, very close there to Lake Nassar. So this tour has some incredible highlights and experiences. Obviously, Egypt is never short on highlights or experiences. We include 8 nights hotel accommodations on this tour. There'll be 7 nights on board the ultra deluxe Nile Cruise ship, which is the MS Tamerhana. You'll enjoy multi-night stays in Cairo, Luxor, and Aswan. We include, of course, all your transportation as per the itinerary, your baggage handling. It's going to be a smaller group tour, so you'll have the advantage of a smaller group, which is always nice. We do include 32 different meals throughout this tour. All of your breakfasts, 7 lunches, and 10 dinners. We also include the round trip domestic air within Egypt that is going to be required traveling from Cairo down into Luxor and Luxor back up into Cairo. So lots of inclusions on this tour. As you can see, all the different museums that we're going to visit, the citadels, the different temples. So obviously we'll start on day one. Day one, welcome to Egypt. In the realm of history and archaeology, few places can match the allure and mystique of Egypt. It's a treasure trove of ancient wonders. You're going to arrive into Cairo, and off your international flight, you're going to clear customs and immigration, and then we're going to transfer you to your hotel. And once you're checked in, you have the remainder of the day to relax and enjoy your overnight stay. I've included here on this slide some images of the hotel that you'll be staying at. Obviously, you'll have had a long day of travel, so you could just get there and unwind and be prepared for the next morning. And on your next morning, day 2 of this tour, we're going to travel from Cairo into Luxor. We'll take a short flight in the morning. You'll land in Luxor, and we're going to check in for a 2-night stay. And you're going to have a bit of time before we head out to freshen up. And then you're off to visit the impressive Karnak Temple, which is an open-air museum and the largest ancient religious site in the world. Karnak consists of huge pillars, towering carved columns, massive avenues of sphinxes, and an obelisk that stands 97 feet tall and weighs 323 tons. I don't know how they got them to stand up. The Egyptians believed the Temple of Karnak was the spot where creation began. They also believed it was a point of interaction between the god Amun-Ra and the Egyptians. It plays an important role to Egypt's cultural history. Not only was it a place of worship, it provides us with valuable clues into the ancient Egyptian religion. And the images on your screen here are all taken at Karnak. You can see the large columns that are carved over there on the left side of your screen, and the obelisk, the 97-foot tall obelisk at Karnak in the top right. And then the middle images as well are just some more shots throughout the Karnak temple. So you're still in Luxor on day 3, and you have a morning and an afternoon free, and we've got an evening visit to another important site, which is the Luxor Temple, when it's going to be illuminated at night. And you can see it illuminated there in the top right image. That's a shot of the Luxor Temple. It's an impressive sight to see. Among its many attractions, the Luxor Temple stands as a majestic testament to Egypt's profound historical and cultural legacy. This iconic structure with its opulent architecture and rich symbolism offers a remarkable journey into the heart of ancient Egyptian civilization. Then after that, after visiting the Luxor Temple in the evening when it's illuminated, you have an option to go to the Sight and Lounge show, the Sound and Light show at the Karnak Temple after visiting the Luxor Temple, which is very close proximity. And the left image and the bottom right image on your screen are images of the Sound and Light show at Karnak. Day 4, you can start your day that day with an optional hot air balloon ride at sunrise over Luxor. It's obviously a once in a lifetime experience, and that's something that you may choose to do. You'll have that option. And then after that, we will visit the Luxor Museum, which houses many historical treasures, including a statue of Tutmosis III from the Karnak Temple complex, items that were found buried with Tutankhamun in the Valley of the Kings, a collection of statues found beneath the Temple of Luxor, and 2 royal mummies, and so much more. After the visit to the Luxor Museum, you're going to board your floating home for the next 7 nights, the MS Tamer Henna. You'll spend some leisure time exploring the ship, or you maybe want to take an optional carriage ride tour to soak up the atmosphere around Luxor. You ride by the markets, the squares, watch the street life. You can ride along the Corniche, which is the main street that runs along the Nile, and it runs from Luxor Temple to Karnak Temple. You know, pass by the old Winter Palace, the Avenue of the Sphinxes, and then you'll join everyone back on board for a night of music and dance. This is an image of your floating home for the next 7 nights, the MS Tamer Henna. And again, you're going to board it and sail down the Nile as far south as Aswan, as is indicated on the map, and Lake Nasser. And then turn around and you'll cruise back up the Nile, again, ending in Luxor. Now, the MS Tamer Henna has just undergone a huge renovation, and I've put up on this slide some images of the staterooms and the sun deck and the dining area. It has a large sun deck with swimming pool and a pool bar, so make sure you pack your bathing suit. Not only does our ship have the onboard pool, but it does, most of the hotels that we'll be staying at do have some incredible pools as well. There's laundry service on board. There's a health club with a sauna, jacuzzi, and a massage room. There's an onboard lounge and bar. There's a shopping area. Wi-Fi is available on board the ship as well. You know, Visa and MasterCard are accepted on board, and they also will accept local currency, which is the Egyptian pound, US dollars, and euros. The staterooms here all have large sliding windows, or French balconies, if you want to call them that. They're fully air conditioned with private controls. They've got the private bath, safety deposit boxes, hair dryers, a mini bar, and satellite TV. So really everything you would possibly need or want on your floating home. Day 5, we're going to visit the Valley of the Kings, which is located on the west bank of Luxor, and it has been the site of royal burials since 2100 BC. It was the pharaohs of the New Kingdom period, 1550 to 1069 BC, who chose this isolated valley, which is dominated by the pyramid-shaped mountain peak of El Quran, which is, or commonly referred to as the Horn, as a location for the royal necropolis. The Valley of the Kings includes 63 magnificent royal tombs. You'll visit the Temple of Queen Hatshepsut at Deir el-Bahri and the Colossi Memnon. And you can see here in these images on your top left, pardon me, everybody, on your top left image on your screen, you've got that's inside the, pardon me, this phone is distracting me. I do apologize. Our co-workers, one of our co-workers visited the Valley of Kings, and these are some images that she took on her visit. So on the top left side, you're inside one of the tombs at the Valley of the Kings. Sorry, everybody. Pardon me. Bottom left is the tomb of Merneptah, and I just put that one in there so that you can see that not all of the tombs are highly decorated. Some of them are very highly decorated, but you will notice that some of the tombs, all of them, are highly decorated and can be quite plain. And you've got the mountain peak shown there above the entrance to the Valley of Kings in the top right-hand image. And that as well was taken by one of our co-workers. So some of the images throughout this presentation have been included, were taken by our co-worker when she visited Egypt. So after your day of exploring the Valley of the Kings, you're going to return to the ship with a little bit of time to relax on the sun deck as you sail along the Nile to your next destination. And this evening, you will join your captain at a welcome cocktail dinner. Here's some more images that were taken by our co-worker on her visit to the Valley of the Kings. And like I said, some of these tombs are very highly decorated, plenty of hieroglyphs, very colorful, and others you see will be quite plain and simple. On day 6, you're going to travel from Esna to Edfu to Kom-Ombo. You'll wake up this morning having sailed into Edfu, and you're going to visit the Temple of Edfu, dedicated to the god of Horus, which was built between 237 and 57 BC. It's one of the best preserved ancient monuments in Egypt. It was preserved by desert sand, with its roof intact. It is also one of the most atmospheric of ancient buildings. 200 years ago, as I mentioned, the temple was buried by sand, rubble, and actually part of the village of Edfu, which had spread over top of the roof. Excavation began in the mid-19th century, and the massive 36-meter high pylon, or the gateway, as you will see, is guarded by 2 huge and impressive granite statues of Horus as a falcon, which you'll see in the middle image of your screen there. After our visit here, we're going to head back and enjoy the onboard amenities as you sail further down the Nile to Kom-Ombo. And you're going to want to break out your Egyptian attire in preparation of the Galabia party this evening. The Galabia, if you're not familiar, is the long robe type garment that you'll see most of the Egyptian people wearing. And you'll get a chance to buy these at the markets, the stalls, and you can have fun bargaining for the best price with the traders. They will likely have them available for purchase, the Galabias, for purchase on board the ship as well, but you will likely get a better deal if you purchase it in the markets as you're traveling through. On day 7, you're going to sail into Aswan this morning. Aswan is known for the remarkable preservation of its ancient archaeological sites. Aswan is a city of open-air marketplaces, felucca cruises, and tranquil views. You're going to visit the High Dam, which is an image at the bottom right of your screen. It took just over 10 years to build, and at a cost of nearly $1 billion. However, it's estimated that they recovered the $1 billion in less than 5 years, thanks to income from increased agricultural production and hydroelectric generation, as well as savings from flood protection and improved navigation. And you'll learn way more about this and the massive impact it had with Egypt's economy when you visit. Following that, you're going to visit the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Philae Temple. It's a stunning example of ancient Egyptian architecture and culture. This temple was built between 380 and 362 BC on a rocky island in the middle of the Nile River, just south of Aswan. It was famous for being a center of trade, a house of worship, healing, and birth. The island and complex was threatened by the construction of the Aswan High Dam. The rising waters would have completely submerged this ancient monument, if not for an international effort to save it. It was moved block by block without damaging any of them from its original island location to another nearby island. I believe it was about 500 meters away from the original location, so that it would be safe and saved from flooding. They even replicated the landscape. They took the landscape, the plants, and the vegetation from the original island and moved them all to the new island, which must have been an amazing feat. And then you're going to, after your visit to the temple, you're going to board a traditional felucca boat, and you're going to cruise on the Nile in the traditional felucca. You'll take in the picturesque views and landscapes of Aswan from the Nile River. And during the cruise, you're going to make a stop at Kitchener's Island to visit the Aswan Botanical Garden. Now, Kitchener's Island was given to Lord Kitchener in the 1890s when he was commander of the Egyptian army. Indulging his passion for beautiful palms and plants, Kitchener turned the entire island into the stunning Aswan Botanical Gardens. He was importing plants from the Far East, India, and parts of Africa. And the gardens are filled with birds as well as hundreds of species of flora. And then you're going to travel back to your floating home, and that evening on board, you're going to have a belly dance and Egyptian folklore show, which would be very entertaining. The following day, which is day 8, you're going to have a very leisurely day. You can relax again and enjoy the onboard amenities. Or you can head out and explore the many sites of Aswan on your own. You could take an optional day excursion to Abu Simbel, where these amazing images were captured again at Abu Simbel by our co-worker during her visit there. And Abu Simbel is located on the bank of Lake Nasser. And the twin temples of Abu Simbel is one of Egypt's most striking monuments. It was built by Ramses II over 3,000 years ago, and these temples have stood the test of time ever since. This is another entire complex that was dismantled and relocated to higher ground because of the construction of the Aswan High Dam. Like, seriously, I can't imagine the enormity of projects like that. The sheer size of the monuments is insane. This evening on board, you're going to experience a Nubian folklore show. And the Nubian are an indigenous tribal group from southern Egypt. Their music and dance are an important part of their culture, and the show is a great way to experience it. You'll be able to witness traditional Nubian music, dance, and costumes, making it a very memorable evening. The next morning, you're going to set sail to Kom Ombo and Esna. You can soak up the scenery along the Nile as you set sail. You'll visit the temple of Kom Ombo. The Arabic term Kom denotes a little hill, while the ancient Egyptian hieroglyph Ombo denotes the gold. The name Kom Ombo, therefore, means the hill of the gold. In ancient times, this was a path to the gold mines of the Eastern Sahara Desert. And the temple is unique because it is a double temple dedicated to Sobek, the crocodile god, which you can have a good image there on the left side of your screen, and Horus, the falcon god. Both are shown on the bottom right-hand image side by side there. And the middle bottle is crocodiles. There is, in ancient Egypt, crocodiles were considered sacred animals and were often mummified and offered as gifts to the god. There's actually a crocodile museum located at the Ambo Temple complex, and the museum contains a collection of crocodile mummies, which you're able to view. Day 10 now, we're going to sail from Esna back into Luxor. Arriving in Luxor, we're going to visit the Dendera Temple complex, which is the home of the Hathor Temple, which is one of the most colorful and awe-inspiring temples in Egypt. It's intricately carved with colored ceilings and columns, as you can see on the bottom, middle, and well, on all of the images, really. The pictures just really don't do it justice. And it's just one of those places that you really need to experience in person to take in the incredible sights that you will see. After that visit, you'll return to the ship with time to relax before joining your fellow travelers for an evening of music and dance on board. On day 11, you're going to disembark the ship and you are going to take your short flight from Luxor back to Cairo for a wonderful 5-night stay. Your hotel is the Fairmont Nile City, which is located on the banks of the Nile River and offers incredible dual rooftop experience. On the rooftop, on the 25th floor, you'll find the Sky Pool, which is an outdoor terrace with both a rooftop pool, restaurant, offering some amazing 360-degree views over the River Nile and Cairo's skyline with the pyramids of Giza in the distance. A couple of floors below, there's another restaurant offering an indoor and outdoor experience filled with vivid colors and beautiful Arabic design, as well as offering those fantastic views and some live entertainment. On the bottom right, there is just one corner of the sky deck offering the pool, where the pool bar is located on the 25th floor. Once you've checked into the hotel, we're going to head out for the day and spend the day touring the sights of Cairo. You're going to visit the Citadel of Salah al-Din and the Mosque of Muhammad Ali, also known as the Alabaster Mosque. The Citadel of Salah al-Din is an image there on the bottom right of your screen. And as you can see, it is like a fortified wall. And on the top right, as well as the image on the left side of your screen, is the Mosque of Muhammad Ali. As you can see, the top right, you've got the image of the domes, the inside of the mosque, absolutely incredible decoration. After that, you'll visit the old Coptic Cairo and the Hanging and Abu Surga churches. The Coptic Cairo is really a unique area within Old Cairo that has a concentration of Christian churches and other sites that date from the centuries between the decline of the Pharaonic religion and the arrival of Islam when Egypt was a Christian majority. Coptic Cairo was largely built around the fort of Babylon and upon the remains of its walls. The Hanging Church, or the Church of the Virgin Mary, was built in the 9th century to hang high upon the walls of Babylon. The effect of this hanging is now diminished significantly as ground levels have risen around the walls. The Abu Surga Church was built in the 5th century right in the center of the ancient Roman fort of Babylon. And Abu Surga Church was built over the cavern where the Holy Family rested when they fled Palestine into Egypt. It includes the well, which they drank from, the stone that baby Jesus slept on, and a few stones that they walked on are still there underneath in the cavern. Day 12 is, you're going to spend a full day exploring 2 magnificent museums in Cairo. The Egyptian Museum of Cairo, which is home to over 170,000 artifacts of ancient Egypt, and the famous Mummies Room, where they have a a display of royal mummies. Then you're going to visit the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization, which is the only museum in Egypt that offers an overview of all the different historical periods in Egypt. These are some images on the screen here of the Museum of Cairo. And these are also some more images that were taken by our co-worker on her visit to the Museum of Cairo. This is the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization, which partially opened in 2017 and was officially inaugurated in 2021. It houses fantastic exhibits of civilization through time in Egypt. And in the evening, you're going to enjoy a delicious Moroccan dinner with your fellow travelers at one of the local restaurants in Cairo. And on day 13, you're going to visit the pyramids of Giza and the Sphinx. You'll get to explore inside the Great Pyramid of Cheops, see Memphis and the ruins of the ancient capital of Egypt. Definitely a highlight of the trip. Mind you, I can't think of every day on this trip as a highlight. There's no doubt about that. And then on day 14 is yours to explore in Cairo on your own. You've got all the free time that you would like to do the things that you would like to take in. And you might choose to do an optional tour to the city of Alexandria, the city of Alexander the Great and Cleopatra. You can visit the library, the Roman amphitheater, the coronation, the harbor, the site of the lighthouse, the citadels, the palace gardens. The list goes on and on and on. Or you could choose to stay in Cairo and explore the many, many wonderful things to see and do while you're in Cairo. That evening, we'll come together with our group for one more time for a farewell dinner. And then day 15, we're going to take in Moaz Street in Old Cairo, which is, a street surrounded by a mix of medieval mosques and buildings, along with modern vendors and shops. We'll do a walking tour of the world famous Khan al-Khali Bazaar, the oldest market in the Middle East, housing mini bazaars and traditional coffee shops, and you'll have plenty of free time to do some shopping too. This will be, then after that, the day is yours. In day 16, unfortunately, your Egyptian adventure will come to an end, and we will transfer you to the airport for your return flight home. So that pretty much covers it. Again, that tour goes March 1st to the 16th of 2024. It's a total of 16 days. We're covering one country, and it does include 32 different meals. So thanks, everyone.
Perfect. Thank you, Cindy. That sounds really exciting. That's one country that I haven't been to yet. That is definitely on my bucket list. So.
Well, it's definitely a bucket list destination for sure. I know Egypt has been on my daughter's bucket list destination, I think, since she was about 6 years old. She's been begging me to take her to Egypt. So one of these days, I hope to take her.
Good. Perfect. Well, I just wanted to as well tell you guys all about our program. We've partnered with Trees for Travel, which is an organization that plants 2 trees. Westworld plants 2 trees on behalf of every passenger that travels with us to help compensate for some of the carbon emissions produced by your trip. So trees are one of the most powerful absorbers of carbon emissions, and by growing trees in developing countries as we travel. So when you travel with us, you are contributing to the restoration and ecosystem and the biodiversity and supporting local communities through employment. And so we're really excited for that partnership. And we're getting closer to Halloween. So we have a trick or treat with Westworld Tours and Women Explorers this month. So you can book any of our selected tours, and the Egypt tour is one of them. And if you book this trip or any of the other selected tours before October 31st, you can choose one of the members and choose your treat. And so there's a variety of different prizes that you can win. So your travel agent will be able to send you all the details once you complete your booking, and you'll get to choose your prize. Okay, so that concludes our presentation on Egypt. And now we welcome any questions that you may have. Just have a quick look in the chat.
Yeah, enter your questions into the chat. I'm sure there must be some out there that we can answer for you. As I had mentioned throughout at the beginning of the presentation, that the local currency in Egypt is called the Egyptian pound. Euros and US dollars are accepted at some of the larger hotels, but it really would be best to carry local currency with you. I know that's a question that we get asked quite frequently about the currency.
Yeah. Another one that's popular with the new visa requirements. So Egypt has always required Canadians to have a visa when they travel. The process has just changed slightly, which is similar to any other country that does a mail-in visa process. But it's really simple. All you're doing is getting your passport photos taken, sending in your passport with a copy of your itinerary, the fee for the visa, and sending it off to, I believe you send it to Ottawa, and your processing time is 2 to 3 weeks. So it's just a simple process to get your visas in order for this trip. So definitely well worth a little bit of trouble to get yourself to Egypt.
Well, we do have a question there. Are any vaccinations required for Egypt?
So there are no vaccinations that are required to travel to Egypt, but it's always best to talk to your doctor and also visit the travel health clinic, and they can provide you with any recommendations for any country that you travel to. But it's always best to talk to your doctor.
One thing I do want to mention too, that I don't know if we mentioned it earlier, but for more information on any of our tours, whether it's the tours that we discussed tonight or our future upcoming presentations, you can always go to our website. We have, you can find out the pricing, you can find out the day-to-day itinerary, how many meals are included, all kinds of information, as well as we do post our video presentations on there as well. So you can find some of our past presentations that we've done on some of our other tours. There will be a copy of this presentation available if you want to rewatch it. And again, if you do have any questions, by all means, send us an email to inquiries@westworldtours.com. Reach out to us. We're happy to answer your questions. And you can also contact your local travel agent. They're more than happy to assist you with any questions you might have on our tours. And we encourage you to follow us on Facebook. That way you will be up to date on any of new tours that are becoming available, as well as any of our future presentations. We do postings on our Facebook when we have people traveling on tour. So you get to see, the various places that we are and our groups having a great time. We have lots of little anecdotes that we'll put on there from time to time as well. So we encourage you to give us a follow on Facebook.
And if you haven't done so already, we would love to hear your ideas for our 25th anniversary. So you can pop that into the chat or the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, and we'd love to take those away and see what we can come up with for our 25th anniversary tour.
Yes, absolutely. every year we do an anniversary tour and we have a president's tour. So, you know, we do have, like I said, our 2024 president's tour is the Northern Lakes of Italy and the Eastern Mediterranean cruise. And our anniversary tour we do every year, but 2025 we're working on still. And we really would, it's a big year for us. We'd love to know where you would like to go.
Have you recommended any air flights? So you can talk to your travel agent. We don't have your air included with this tour besides your internal flights. And we typically don't offer air flights or even suggestions on all of our tours, simply because a lot of people like to travel ahead of time or stay longer, or, you know, since they're going so far, they like to visit another area while they're away. So we don't have any suggested flights at this time. But you're welcome to talk to your travel agent and see what flights are looking like, and where the best routing is for depending on where you're coming from.
And that's one thing we should mention that maybe we haven't, is we do offer pre and post tour accommodations. We can make those arrangements for you. So if you wanted to fly into Cairo a day or two ahead of the group and stay at the group hotel, that is something that we do for a number of our tours, especially our international tours, as well as post tours. As Leanne mentioned, many people like to stay a bit longer at the end of the tour, or fly to another destination within. So yeah, those are things we can certainly offer with our tours.
Perfect. And I don't, unless there's any other questions,
Have you checked on Facebook, Leanne, to see if there was anything?
There's
okay,
nothing there right now. So thank you for those of you that joined us on Facebook. If you do have any questions, you can definitely put them in the comment section, and we will get to those, whether it's now or a little bit later. We can answer any questions for you. And you're welcome to email us as well if you have a question after the fact, or if you're watching the replay, definitely send us an email to inquiries@westworldtours.com, and we would be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
One thing I should mention too is, and maybe I wasn't very clear on throughout the presentation, you know, it's always thoughts after that you think, oh, I should have mentioned this, but on our highlights that we include on the tour, we include all the entrances and the entrance fees, and like to the museums and the attractions and the local guides, and all of that is included. So when you're looking on the website and you're looking through our itinerary, anything that's listed under our highlights, those are all included in the pricing.
A really one-stop shop. You don't have to worry about the driving. You don't have to worry about finding a hotel. If the meal isn't included, our local guides on the ground can provide recommendations, and we try to get you in the center of everything so that you're, you know, within walking distance to places. You don't need to wait in lines. We've got the tickets for you ahead of time, so it's really a great way to travel. You know, we welcome solo travelers as well. We offer a room share, which we partner you up with someone of the same sex if you'd like. And of course, you get in touch with them ahead of time if you would like to travel but don't want to pay the single supplement. That is always an option as well. But we have lots of solo travelers on many of our trips, and it's really a great way to meet other people that love traveling. And to just have the safety and security of traveling with a group.
A really nice thing on this particular tour as well, Leanne, is that you're not changing hotels very often. You're on board the cruise ship itself for 7 nights, and you're spending 5 full nights in Cairo at the same hotel. So really, there's only a very few hotel changes where you have to pack and unpack.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, well, I think that might be the end of our presentation this evening. Again, please send us any emails or reach out to us. We're happy to answer your questions. Looks like another question just popped up.
Yes. So
what will the temperature? Should be very comfortable.
Yes. I'm just gonna
Not too hot.
Google search. So in March, actually, yeah, the temperature is really nice, especially escaping a Saskatchewan winter. Temperature, the highs of 24 and lows of 13. So very comfortable for being out during the day and exploring the area.
That's a great question.
And then Aswan is a little bit hotter, which is nice. So Aswan will be around 30 degrees for highs. So you'll get some sun while you're there. And no
You'll
snow.
enjoy the pool on board the ship for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if there are no other questions, we will end the presentation and hopefully see you all next week.
Thanks again for joining us.